Hi, my name is Florian and I've been working in the tattoo industry for the last 16 years. Today we're going to talk about why clients ask about prices and how you can deal with it. First of all, who am I and why am I here to talk with you about this? As said, I've been working in this industry for the last 16 years. I started in 2010. In this time, I have been working and managing some of the biggest studios in Europe, and I've been working with amazing tattoo artists from all around the world in this time. 3 years ago, I left the studio, made my own company, and now I'm working full-time with artists, taking care about everything they need besides tattooing. So what do I really do? I help tattoo artists and studio owners turning their craft into structured and successful businesses. My focus areas are quality clients, pricing power, sales system, and brand positioning. And where do I have this knowledge from? I have working hands-on with hundreds of artists over the last 16 years. I have seen where our industry was 16 years ago, how it developed in this time, and where we are today. And I have seen the same challenges repeating no matter what country you're in, what style you're working in, or how you have built up your studio so far. So there is a clear pattern recognition what actually boosts bookings and revenue. So what do we do with Tattoo Growth? Tattoo Growth is an artist community that we have where we actually take care about these topics, everything away from tattooing that is necessary to have a thriving and successful business in our industry. So in this video, we're going to talk about why people are asking for prices, why they do this most of the time pretty early in conversation, and why this is more of a symptom than a real problem. And I'm going to give you some tips how you can change this for the long term. So let's talk about the elephant in the room. You probably know artists that say that, or you have said it yourself already, clients only care about the price. But this isn't the real issue. This is more a symptom. The price question from your client's side is a signal, and it shows uncertainty, not cheapness. But the question is, why does this happen more in the tattoo industry than in other industry? Well, our industry is fundamentally different when it comes to the sales process than other industry. First of all, a tattoo is a permanent decision. It's not something you can get rid of if you don't like it at the end. A tattoo is always a high financial as well as a high emotional risk for your client. So people need more certainty when they're purchasing a tattoo than other services or products. So in this video, I will explain to you why this happens and how you can remove price resistance even before the client sends you a message. Now, the real question here is, why do people ask about prices that early in a conversation? So if the value or the perceived value for your client is unclear, the price becomes the only reference point they have. But how does that work from the psychological aspect? People look for something measurable when they are unsure. So the price becomes the measurement per default. When we translate this in our industry, this means when the client doesn't understand the difference between you and other artists, they fall back to price comparison. So the key takeaway here is that the price is not really an objection. It is a request for clarity from your client's side. To make it easier to talk about pricing, we have to redefine sales as a whole. Most people think sales is something bad. Most people have bad experience with other salespersons. Sales is nothing about pushing through an agenda that doesn't fit to your client. And it has also nothing to do with manipulation. What sales really means is asking questions and figure out what the person in front of you really wants. By asking questions, you can take away the pressure and you can make it a beautiful conversation with another human being. Understanding the other person is crucial to good sales, because when you understand the values and the needs of the other person, you can first of all decide for yourself if you are the right fit for it, and if so, you can help them make the right decision and get something that is at least what they are expecting, or most of the time something way better that they could imagine. Great tattoo artists already do that when it comes to their art, their tattoos, their designs, to their craft. There it feels very natural for them. But sometimes it can feel hard to apply the same thing to communication and business. So to get this straight from the beginning, I know that there are two types of clients. There are the people who are just going for prices. No matter how good you are as an artist, no matter what you bring to the table, they don't care about anything except of the price. But this is not the type of client that you want, because they have mostly a very low emotional investment. They make fast decisions but have very low commitment. And they most often text not only one artist but several artists, look who has the cheapest price, and just go for the cheapest price. When you have messages like this, it's extremely hard to convince them that quality is more important than price. So if you have somebody that's just price shopping, don't waste too much of your energy. But there is the second kind of client as well. They look for quality, they look for good art, and they are willing to discuss the price. But when you have a price range that is too high for them or not in the budget that they have planned for their tattoo, their perceived value is not high enough. To explain you a little bit better what I mean by perceived value, let's do a little mental experiment. So imagine I have a backpack, black leather backpack from, let's say, H&M or Zara or whatever. Costs in the store around $50, something like that. Now I come to you with this backpack and I will ask you, would you buy this backpack for $1 million? You will probably say no. If I offer you the same backpack for 100,000, you would still probably say no. If I offer you the same backpack for 1,000, you would still say no. If you offer you the backpack for 100, you will probably still say no. But if I come and offer you the backpack for $10, you will probably say yes if you're looking for a new backpack, and the backpack costs around $50 if you buy it new in the shop. But if I come to you now and I tell you, hey, in this backpack there is 2 million in cash inside, that you perceive from this backpack has changed. And now spending $1 million on it suddenly sounds like a pretty good deal. So how we perceive value when we are in a sales process is extremely important for us to make the right decision of how much we want to spend on it. So to get back to the topic, if we have the second kind of clientele that are willing to talk to you and that are looking for a good tattoo and high quality artist, we need to make sure that the perceived value that this client has from us is as high as it can be. The goal here is that when you say how much the tattoo will cost, the client will look at you and be like, that's it? Because the perceived value that he has from your service and your art is way higher than what you're asking for in price. So when we talk about perceived value, we have to understand the buying values of a client. And the buying values are the values that a client has to justify an expense in his own mind. So in our industry, when it comes to tattooing, some of these values can be safety and trust, creative understanding, status and identity that comes with your brand, the experience and the professionalism that you offer, and amazing tattoos. So the problem is when we are just showing tattoos online, that we are missing out on a lot of these values. Because when you're only showing tattoos, you're communicating skill. You're not communicating certainty. And high quality clients, they buy safety, they buy transparency, they buy the experience and not just an amazing tattoo. So your responsibility as an artist is to understand what your ideal client values the most and then start to create content around these values that you can communicate them constantly on your social media and other platforms. Here is another quick story to understand better how people actually buy. Imagine that I was trying to get a ticket for an event I wanted to join. And at this event, somebody held a speech and I wanted to learn from this person. So my intention to go to this event is to learn something new. Now the basic ticket is something around, let's say, $300. And I'm talking to the first salesperson, and this salesperson wants to upsell me immediately. They do not ask any questions. They're just talking about features and what else big things they could offer me than the normal regular ticket. They introduced me to the price for the upgraded ticket very early. Let's say when the basic was 300, they told me 1,200 for the upgraded ticket. This salesperson was not understanding why I was there. They didn't ask any questions. And the whole conversation feels very transactional and generic, not personal, not understanding. As a result, I said no. And the reason for that was not the price, it was that the values were not aligned. Now let's talk about salesperson 2. They had a very calm, non-pushy, and very honest appearance. They didn't start to bury me in features and cool things that they could offer me as well. He started to ask questions. He started to ask why I wanted to attend this event, what I was looking for at this event, what my intention was, why I wanted to be there. So he identified my needs. I wanted to learn something, I wanted to have access to this person, and I wanted to exchange with other people there who have the same path that I do or wanted to learn the same thing that I do. This salesperson framed the upgrade that he could sell me around the outcome that I would have, built around the values that I have communicated him earlier. So my reaction was, yes, I will buy the updated ticket because it fits way better to what I am looking for. So the key lesson here is it was exactly the same product, it was exactly the same price, but a different understanding of the person I have been talking to. So salesperson 2 increased my perceived value through aligning with what I'm looking for and not through being pushy or trying to force me into something they don't really understand if I need it or not. Now is the question, how can we apply this to our industry? How can we apply this to tattooing? If you want to say it really hard, tattoo artists don't need to sell harder. They need to understand better. The better you understand what your clients want, your ideal clients, what they are looking for, not just in the tattoo itself, but in everything around, from the first moment they get in touch with you to the moment they leave the studio, your sales process will become way more easy and more aligned with your clients. So where should this happen? This should happen anywhere where you have an online presence. Most cases is on social media. On social media, you can work with this especially good in branded content and in content that you produce around these values. And why does this matter for you as an artist? Well, if your client already knows what values are important for you and how you treat your clients, they will arrive pre-sold in your inbox or in the studio. Conversations will feel way more easy and the price resistance drops naturally. This all sounds so easy when it's said, but it's way harder to bring it into reality and work with it properly. So the question is, what can you do, especially on social media, to help your clients make the right decision and to start your sales process already on your social media and within your content? One thing that I have learned is that most artists post what they care about. And this is not fundamentally wrong, but they do not post what their clients care about. A client mostly doesn't have the same understanding of quality in tattooing as you do as an artist. So let's say your client understands maybe the first 50% of quality of a tattoo. Everything above 50% looks the same for him. Only other artists understand the top 50% of quality in tattooing. So most tattoo artists build Instagram portfolios for other artists and not for clients. And they get more likes and more interaction with other artists and not with the clients. And if you have a profile like that, that is mostly artist focused, you will get more DMs or more emails, more requests that are focused on the price from the beginning. How can you change that? Start to reverse engineer your content. Think about, what does your ideal client cares about? What does he want to know? What does he need to understand to be sure that you are the right decision for him? And to figure this out, you can start from the buyer's values of your clients and not from the artist's ego of how he wants to present himself on social media. Try to understand what your clients are looking for and show it to them. So let's recap what we have talked about in this video into the shortest form that I can. Price resistance is a symptom. It's not the problem. It just means that your clients are looking for more clarity in the values that you're standing for as an artist and what they can expect when they come to you. The more clarity you have in your communication, the easier it is for you to remove resistance. And this is a pattern that we have very consistent across all the studio that we've been working together with Tattoo Growth. Because when values are clear, the price is no longer the center of the focus. Thank you very much for staying with me till the end of this video. If you have any questions to this topic, please feel free to drop them in the comments. Now, if you want to take on these topics in your business and you don't want to do it alone, maybe Tattoo Growth is the right fit for you. But let me make this very clear. We are talking to serious artists and serious studio owners. Tattoo Growth is something for serious artists that want clear guidance and who are looking for more advanced help than we just covered in this video. If you're interested to learn more, there is a link in the bio for a call with us to get to know each other. We are not working with everyone. We are only working with people when we see that we can provide the value needed and we are the right fit for each other. If you would like to figure this out, feel free to book in a quick call with us and let's get to know each other. For that, click the link in the bio and see you soon.